would go to Stages. Downstairs from Stages was a bar, the Parkside, that was still structured with a men's room in the back and a ladies and escorts. In Ontario, historically, the liquor laws, ladies and escorts went into one part of the bar and men only went into another part of the bar. But Parkside took advantage of that separation by liquor license to have a gay bar in the back that you could get into from the side street that was all men. But still, for us as kids, that was a little old and tired. So we would go to this disco that was intentionally above these spaces where people would mix. But what you had in the Parkside is the police would come through every night at least once and walk through the bar and check out the bathrooms in case people were having sex in the bathrooms, and then walk out. It was just a ritual. We were used to it. That's just the way it was. The night of the closing of the Parkside, I wish I was there. I wasn't. But the story is the police came in on the very last night when everyone knew it was closing. Purportedly, all the men stood up and gave them a standing ovation. Like, we know what you're about, and you fucking bugged us for all these years, and we'll just give it back to you. There you go. As a young man, I'd see older men as sadder than me. And I'd see them as men who would have to go to classic cocktail gay bars. There was one called The Quest, and during my hitchhiking into Toronto days, the first time I went to a gay bar, I went into The Quest. But I walked around the block 10 times before I could get myself to go in. And then I got picked up on the line in the coat check, so I left. And I ended up in Mississauga with no ride home, kicked out of an apartment. So that's like a coming out story. But the point is, I go to the Quest and I think, man, if this is gay, I don't want to be it. Because I felt like those men had to leave secret lives completely and come out solitary and go to drink in these bars. It's a mischaracterization of who they are, even as I say that. But so there was mixing, but my youthful arrogance probably in that place didn't allow me to mix with older men. One night, just because I was talking to someone through a car window, I was stopped by the police as if I was a hustler and interrogated. Another night, I did get in a car, but I got in a car and then I realized, oh, I am a hustler. I wasn't a hustler, but the guy treated me like I was. So the boundaries, almost as the idea of a demi-monde, where the boundaries are not as distinct between who you are in a moment. But what I'm saying, there's a politics of letting boundaries where class aren't as distinct and who you are changes according to who's pursuing you. I think those are all politics. So I wasn't directly involved in the raids, but I do remember the raids happening. And I started carrying myself. I was much more out after that. I was much more direct in talking about who I was. When you see an event like the Bathhouse Raids, you see how threatening queer spaces are and how the mainstream or the outside has to try to get in and force their way in. And even now when things feel benign, keep watching, because let's not be naive. You know, these types of assaults can happen.